What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Freedom Fire Podcast, where we want to stoke the flames of freedom every single day. My name is Kendall Bowman. I got a loaded show for you guys today. Before I get into that, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section, and share the show with your friends. Follow me on all the socials down in the description. Hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we put out new videos. All right, guys, let's get into this. So, in my last episode, in my last show, I told you guys about what was going on with the whole January 6th thing, where Mr. Jacob Chansley was lied about by the federal government, and the federal government purposely held back video evidence that would have exonerated him, that would have gotten him released from prison. So, unfortunately, we have more of the same here. Federal government doing things for their own agenda that purposely harm the American people. All right, we got from Tim Cass, White House press secretary says fentanyl is at historic lows under Biden. That's hilarious. White House press secretary Karine-Jean said the nation is experiencing historically low rates of fentanyl despite dire warnings from border officials and the nation's attorney general. The statement came 1 month after border officials testified at a congressional hearing that between October 2022 and February 2023, enough of the illicitly produced synthetic opioid had been trafficked across the United States-Mexico border to kill more than 1 billion people. During a March 7th press briefing, reporter Doug Ducey asked, "Cartels kill Americans on this side of the border with drugs, and now they're killing Americans on the other side of the border with guns. Why is President Biden so comfortable with cartels operating so close to the U.S.?" Let me be very clear. Because of the work that this president has done, because of what we have done specifically on fentanyl at the border, it's at historic lows, Jean-Pierre responded. More on that in just a moment. She said a historic level of personnel have been recorded at the border seizing that fentanyl. We've done it in a historic way, the press secretary said. That's because of what this president has done. She added that the Biden administration has levied sanctions against traffickers, and financiers have been able to disrupt fentanyl supply chains. Additionally, she said the federal government has increased access to drug treatment and thereby has prevented Americans from overdosing on fentanyl. We're seizing fentanyl at record historic levels because of what the president has done to secure our borders, Jean-Pierre said. And look, we have also coordinated our relationship with Mexico to deal with what we are seeing as it relates to violence, as it relates to cartels. While questioning two U.S. Border Patrol agents on February 7th, Tennessee Congressman Tim Burkett noted Customs and Border Patrol had seized 9,400 pounds of the illicit opioid. Of the total volume, 7,200 pounds of fentanyl were seized specifically at the U.S.-Mexico border. That's enough fentanyl to kill every American 5 times over, said Burkett per the New York Post. The Drug Enforcement Administration states that 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be fatal. The border agents Tucson Sector Chief Patrol Agent John Maudlin and Rio Grande Valley Chief Patrol Agent Gloria Chavez both confirmed drug trafficking remains rampant at the southern border. In the Tucson sector last year, we seized about 700 pounds of fentanyl, Maudlin testified, based on the lethality of a dose of fentanyl. That's enough to kill everyone in Arizona 21 times, or basically half of the population in the United States. Attorney General Merrick Garland appeared before the Senate Judiciary Committee on March 1st and testified that Mexican drug cartels had intentionally released fentanyl in America. It's a horrible epidemic, and it's an epidemic that's been unleashed on purpose by the Sinaloa and the New Generation Jalisco cartels. Garland said he claimed the Mexican government could do more to assist the U.S. as it fights drug trafficking. According to Fox News, fentanyl seizures have dramatically spiked during the Biden administration. In 2020, the agency recorded 4,800 pounds of fentanyl were seized. In 2022, the agency seized 14,700 pounds. Since the 2023 fiscal year began in October, 12,500 pounds of fentanyl have been seized by the American border authorities. So here we go. This is a lie. This is just a blatant lie, and it's a lie that fits their agenda. And how does this fit their agenda? Their agenda has been, at least the agenda of the Biden administration has been for a long time, open borders. and the reason that I know this personally is because, one, I live in the state of Texas, and two, it's very obvious. Look at this. Check this out. DEA warns of increase in mass overdose events involving deadly fentanyl. But I thought it was at a low. Fentanyl is killing Americans at an unprecedented rate, said DEA Administrator Ann Milgram. Already this year, numerous mass overdose events have resulted in dozens of overdoses and deaths. Drug traffickers are driving addiction and increasing their profits by mixing fentanyl with other illicit drugs. Tragically, many overdose victims have no idea they are ingesting deadly fentanyl until it's too late. Oh, man. Fentanyl is driving the national overdose epidemic. The CDC estimates that in the 12-month period ending in October 2021, more than 105,000 Americans died of drug overdoses, with 66% of those deaths related to synthetic opioids like fentanyl. Last year, the United States suffered more fentanyl-related deaths than gun and auto-related deaths combined. Yeah. It's not at historic lows. This is not at historic lows. When you have about 60,000 people dying from one drug, it's not at historic lows. Those are the 2022 numbers. Guys, the federal government is clearly pushing their own agenda. Okay, you can sit there and you can say, "Oh, well, Trump did the same thing when he was in whatever." I don't like the federal government as it is. Either way, I don't care who's office. Who's in office. I don't like the federal government. The federal government sucks. Clearly, they lied about Jacob Chansley in what he was doing. They kept him in prison, let him rot in prison, all for their agenda, all so they could just keep pushing their lies that J6 was an insurrection. And now they're lying about this being at historic lows. Also, you won't remember that 60,000 people died from this drug last year under their watch. Historic lows, man. They're going to lie to you. They're always going to lie to you. They're going to lie to you to push their agenda, to keep their power going, to keep their agendas going. And you might be wondering, why on earth would this be a part of their agenda? Well, you got to understand something. The open border policies that they've had is constantly helping Americans. Is constantly helping the Democrat Party. It's killing Americans. The Democrat Party benefits tremendously from these open border policies. And the reason why is it's not because, in some situations, in some states, it's because these illegal immigrants are allowed to vote, and the majority of them that are coming from places like Mexico, Central America, they are more likely to vote Democrat, unfortunately. Whereas if an immigrant is coming from a place like Cuba or Venezuela, a primarily communist socialist country, they're less likely to vote Democrat because they know the horrors of communism. But the reason why they benefit from letting all of these people into the country is that it builds up the populations of states like California. And then I believe I've said it on this show or mentioned it on this show, the Biden administration has been flying these immigrants across the country to other blue states as well, increasing the numbers of their population on the census. And what that does is it gives those states more electoral votes, giving them more power in the elections. This is why President Donald Trump wanted to put the citizenship question on the census to try and stop things like this. So they will purposely inflate their numbers, their populations in blue states, just so they can get some more electoral votes in elections. All the while, your children will die from fentanyl exposure, and they won't even know it until it's too late. All for their agenda. And then they'll come out and they'll say, at historic lows under Biden. They'll lie to you and they'll tell you everything's fine. It's getting better. We're making strides, when in reality they're doing nothing. I don't know where we go from here. I don't. And you know, you see stuff like this and it makes you, like, you sit there and you're like, well, yeah, no wonder Texas is trying to secede. By the way, if you missed last week's show, they are trying to secede. You should go watch that show. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, there's a legitimate chance that Texas could secede from the Union now, and it's because of crap like this. It's because of things like this. They just refuse to do the right thing by the American people. They refuse to show the American people the respect that they have earned. I don't know. I don't get it, man. I don't understand it. I don't know where we go from here. It's clearly that things are just getting worse. More people are dying of fentanyl every single day. And yeah, you can seize a lot of it at the border, but how much got through that you didn't seize? How much is getting through that you were not able to stop because you keep allowing these open border policies? I don't know. I'm going to leave it there. I'll have another show coming for you guys on today's Friday, so I'll have another show coming for you guys on Monday. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section, share the show with your friends, follow me on all the socials down in the description, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we put out new videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.